Good morning, everyone. Hope you had a good start today. We will be starting the session in a couple of minutes. Please have a seat. Shall we start? Silvia, if you can give me a heads up when the recording starts. It's already on. Good morning, everyone. Good morning and welcome to the pavilion of the United Nations Climate Change Global Innovation Hub. It's a pleasure to introduce the session today. This is the session 2 on the award ceremony of the UNIDO FCA and UNFCCC UNCCD community. So we will be learning more about this initiative in a few minutes. My name is Carlos Ruiz Garbia. I am a UNFCCC staff member, currently working as a project manager for the UN Global Innovation Hub here at running this pavilion at COP26. And on behalf of Masamba Tioye, who is the project executive of the project, I'm very delighted to welcome my colleagues from UNIDO and FCA today, who will be introducing the outcomes of the call of that was launched a few months ago in the context of the call for innovative solutions in Cleantech and sustainable land management. I would like to highlight that this initiative is extremely connected to the concept and the framework that in the Global Innovation Hub will be developing. This is an initiative that will be hosting different platforms and different initiatives on climate innovation, forward-looking to best understand the demand for climate solution, but also to match make with the existing innovative solutions out there. So we will have a platform and a community of accelerators, incubators, and implementers, as well as looking to enablers that work in the constellation of climate solutions beyond what is innovation technology, but including a clusters that connects to finance, innovation, business models, collaboration, etc., etc. So in this context, we are very happy to have UNIDO FCA colleagues here. So I would like to then pass the microphone to Peter, who will tell us more about the initiative. Peter, you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Carlos, and thank you to Masamba and Sylvia and all the others of the Innovation Hub who are orchestrating this with a lot of effort. We appreciate being here today. Your work is extremely important, and we'd like to share results of the global call today. And before introducing ourselves properly, we'd like to play a short movie. It's the official trailer to the whole event, and you get a better idea of what we had planned with it and what the results are about once you've seen the movie. Okay, so it would be nice if our team here could play the trailer first. Thank you. So that was the official announcement. Welcome everybody. My name is Peter Schniering. I'm the founder of Future Cleantech Architects. We're a climate innovation think tank located in Germany. And I have a colleague here who's co-organizing everything.
Welcome everyone, my name is Vanessa Voelkel and I'm the Deputy Head of the UNIDO Investment and Technology Promotion Office in Germany, in Bonn and Cologne region, and our office supports investors to transfer their technologies and to invest into developing countries and economies in transition. So maybe a few words also about UNIDO. So UNIDO is a specialized agency of the United Nations with the mandate to support an inclusive and sustainable industrial development. And maybe we can speak a bit more about the reasons for the global call.
That's right. You've just seen the trailer. You've seen how we called out to innovators across the globe, basically, in applying with scalable private sector solutions for the 4 categories which we've seen. And we would like to give you a couple of details on the call before we introduce the winners, before we introduce you to the 4 categories. And one thing is, as I already mentioned, Vanessa, we had these 4 sectors. Which one did we choose? Which one, how were they set up? Maybe you can add a couple of points.
Yeah, we had 4 categories which we found very relevant to combat the adverse effects of climate change, which is decarbonizing growing urban environments, clean and efficient energy generation and storage, solutions for circular production and industrial processes, and 4th, sustainable land management, because the land management area with soil health and so ever also has a big impact on greenhouse gases, and that was actually the sector which UNCCD, which Carlos mentioned, the United Nations Convent to Combat Desertification, also covered a lot, and we teamed up for this with UNFCCC.
So before we deep dive into the first category, because we'd like to give you a short technical introduction to all of them, let's give a couple of details on how many companies applied, maybe in total, and that the award ceremony, and we see participants from the award ceremony here in the audience as well, was not just a Zoom meeting, but we took something special, we created something special, I think, for the winners and also the shortlisted companies, right?
Yeah, what you see here at the photo is what last week this was in Germany. 180 persons attending the award ceremony in a theater in Cologne region in Remscheid in Germany, and online around 400 people attending the ceremony. And this was the ceremony where the winners, which we introduced today, were awarded. And at this event, really clean tech innovators came together, energy companies, ministries, so many stakeholders. Maybe you also want to elaborate a bit more about the award ceremony, but actually 4 winners were awarded out of 300 applications, which we received totally from 71 countries, from 5 continents. So we received applications from India, China, Bangladesh, European countries. So it was really a global call with many applications from the private sector.
You see some winners on stage. Some of them brought their whole teams on stage, and it was really a very rewarding experience for many participants to be there and exchange opinions. All COVID rules were, of course, complied with, and it was a very positive event where, in the end, we could sort of look forward to COP and create this platform for the winners. So I think maybe something we should mention is the networking is extremely important. We orchestrated 2 additional events, one on innovation theories, on how can we push innovation in organizations, in companies, with corporates, in the finance world. This was in the library, and this is a co-working space for startups. And here we orchestrated another event for heavy industry. So heavy industry people met with innovators in this field, R&D people, and all this. And the call now coming to the winners, or those who applied and made it to the shortlist, the call itself was symbolized by a puzzle composed of 4 pieces, which are supposed to show the 4 categories. And we used the puzzle deliberately to show how much these categories belong to each other. Sometimes it was even hard to separate them if we received an application. Now, what category does this fall in? Because it's sector coupling between these. And I'd like to ask our team to play this animation of the puzzle once, because we need them all together in the end. But before we solve the energy transition with this, we need to develop these technologies separately in a way. And we would like to start with the first category now and tell you a little bit more about it. And why did we choose these 4 categories? If you imagine global total emissions, we're talking about roughly 51 to 54, meanwhile, gigatons of CO2 equivalent. And they are spread out across certain sectors. And the categories we created for the call all represent certain parts of these sectors, while they are also overlapping, because it cannot be differentiated that easily and that strictly. This is just a key criterion and a key component of any sector coupling and of any solution we will need to seek technologically in future. So when we look at the first category, now this is jumping. What is going on? Okay, so I was already told once Facebook upstairs are switching on their big cameras, we might have some difficulties here running the presentation properly. So I'd like to ask our team to go back to the first category, which is urban. Decarbonizing, that's the one. So, one more, please. I'll try again if I can. Right. Growing urban environments. You see, it's at the bottom. I hope the people in the room can see it. It represents roughly 15 gigatons out of the 51, to give you an idea where we are. And in these categories, you need to understand first, if we talk about urban spaces, how the population will develop from 2021 to 2050 according to predictions. So we're about to rise from a global population of 7.5 billion people to 10 billion in 2050. And at the same time, the space we will need for buildings, indicated by the small houses, and the electricity we will need will multiply. So we will build the world over more than once in the time until 2050, while, of course, building with cement represents one of the key sources of emissions. So we need to build massive new urban areas in a sustainable way, which is one of the challenges. We will need to find a new way of urban planning. Artificial intelligence, evidence-based urban planning to do this sustainably. And we will... Does it allow me to show the next slide? Maybe somebody else can click it. We will need new types of power markets in these segments that will be able to trade bilaterally or multilaterally. Okay, so let's come to the winners. Let's come to the shortlisted companies and to the winners. And summarizing this first category, we had 58 applications that made it through the first application process, because a couple of them would not qualify for some reasons. We had all kinds of proposals for this first category, from micro-mobility platforms allowing a better mobility solutions in future cities, to electricity sharing services, sensoring networks that create real-time data to better plan urban areas, and all kinds of low-carbon infrastructure. But we had a clear winner. By the way, we didn't mention this. There was a jury, right, that decided on this. That was not us, but...
Came just to my mind because seeing a jury member here also in the audience with Andrea Campanoiara from UNFCCC, program officer at the tech team. We have one jury member here in the room, and we had other jury members from UNCCD and from UNIDO, so it was an independent jury during the selection out of a short list of 23 shortlisted companies. And also, like, if you're interested to see more technologies, this Global Call Award ceremony, which we mentioned, is online on YouTube. So once you type UNIDO Global Call Award ceremony, you can watch the live stream and see it more in detail.
And we have a winner for this category, which is...
We have a winner, and the winner is RUNWITHIT Synthetics from Canada, and they are here today with us. So let's first see the video of RUNWITHIT Synthetics, please.
The winner movie number 1, because we pre-produced a video where the winners can introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Myrna Bittner, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of RUNWITHIT Synthetics.
And I'm Dean Bittner, CTO and co-founder.
With our backgrounds in technology as founders and executives, we started RUNWITHIT Synthetics to help people successfully navigate complex futures.
RUNWITHIT creates future labs for cities and regions, looking for ways to design mobility choices that accelerate decarbonization in growing urban environments.
And these future labs are advanced, scenario-based simulations composed of living interconnected models that are hyper-localized to accurately recreate a region's people,
their lives and livelihoods, barriers, activities, choices, health, and even economics.
And this is all in order to measure how a region's people will respond to new technologies, policies, infrastructure, even different situations and scenarios. For the next stage of scaling, RUNWITHIT is looking to partner with strategic initiatives and advisors around the world who inform regions about decarbonization investment.
To facilitate growth and demand, we're hiring key personnel.
And we'll be opening a round of investment in Q1 of 2022 to accelerate our international growth.
Thank you. And we have them with us today, virtually. So we're going live to Canada, I think.
We're almost there.
You're almost there. Tell us.
So
we had a small stop in Grenoble to attend the high-level forum.
Welcome to Glasgow. So once again, congratulations of being one of the winners of the UNIDO Global Call 2021, being the winner of the category Decarbonizing Growing Urban Environments. And yeah, maybe Myrna or Dean, please can you briefly explain what RUNWITHIT Synthetic does and how your technology contributes to combating the challenges of climate change?
You bet. Good afternoon, and thanks for having us. We create these digital twins of cities and regions. They're a bit special. Unlike a lot of digital twins or engineering simulations, we fill them with synthetic people that are powered by advanced AI models, and we bring them to life. We then inject novel scenarios and see and observe what happens. For decision makers, we supply them with the data that they need to make decisions. And we can measure outcomes like reducing carbon.
And I think your question about decarbonization and how we contribute, as we've all been well aware this week, it's extraordinarily complex. And in cities and growing urban environments, this is no different. In fact, being able to understand not only how to decarbonize today, but how to decarbonize tomorrow with the rates of growth requires new tools and new understanding. And so our synthetic environments enable people to connect all different types of policy, technology, infrastructure, population density, growth, building infrastructure, things that exist today, things that are anticipated to come tomorrow, and really inflect these choices and understand how decarbonization is interconnected in these cities. So how, if we change policy, does that impact decarbonization 10, 15 years from now? How, if we change policy and anticipated technology arrives, will it be adopted, and how will it impact? And then even more so gives us the opportunity to connect these really important decarbonization decisions to building more sustainable, resilient, and of course, equitable futures. So because we have this living population, we can see who is affected and how, and really make some decisions around people and process, and that give people new access to education and economic opportunity and more resilient futures.
Thank you. Can you maybe describe a typical project of RUNWITHIT?
Sure. So we start again by being asked a question in a particular region, and we begin by synthesizing the population. So that's what we call it anyways. It really involves looking for any kind of sources of data so they may be census data or research data or combinations of that we can incorporate. It's not surveillance data. And oftentimes we're asked these questions in regions where they don't have a lot of data. And so we go to great pains to pull in as much informed research from diverse sources as possible and synthesize it in an accurate population. So we can see not only who's visible in data today, but also who's invisible. And when we do this, the whole purpose of what we do is to inject this population with localized, we call it psychographics, but ways people make choices in different locations and regions in the world, what their activities are like, the barriers to their activities, their health. And then we bring the environment to life. And because we generate people in these environments and their lives and livelihoods, we can then inject things or inflect things that haven't happened yet and watch how they respond. And more so than just watch how they respond, we can measure how they respond. And this is where all of the data-informed decision-making comes in.
Okay, thank you so much. And what are your next steps, and what kind of partnerships do you hope to establish through the COP26?
I think our next steps are really strategic partners in not only the sectors that we are in already, which is energy, mobility, decarbonization, resilience, and economics, but also to look for partners who can help us inform and participate and add things like water, food security, climate migration even, and so that we can more fully inform not only the regions we're involved in today, but new regions and responses.
Thank you so much, both of you, for dialing in and sharing this view with us. We're sure we'll hear from you in future, and we wish you all the best for the next steps. And yes, please continue your work and inspire people developing such solutions.
Thank you.
Speak to you soon. So we will thank you to Dean and Myrna Bittner, and we will continue with the next category, because after the urban environments and the solutions for urban environments, we had a look in category 2 at clean and efficient energy generation, and a second segment actually, but we combined it in one, which is storage. Now, why did we do this? If we take a look at electricity right now, the cost development and the capacity development, you can see on the right hand that the levelized cost, the LCOE of electricity, actually for solar went down and is way below coal generation cost. But on the left hand you see the total share of energy consumption still is overwhelmingly fossil in this field. And one of the challenges in expanding these fields further is, many of you know this as well, those renewables with the strongest learning curves, solar PV, wind, on and offshore, are intermittent. Sometimes the sun doesn't shine or the wind doesn't blow. And over the year, this leads to relatively strong fluctuations. And these can only be buffered if we want to decarbonize further our grid and our electricity production by having storage opportunities. And not just storage within the hours, but storage on a seasonal scale, or at least on a month scale storage. And so these are solutions we're looking at the moment a lot, because now it's jumping again. Let me go back. Because we have this challenge of electrification. It's not just we need to use sustainable technologies for everything that's electricity now in the world, but there will be much more. If we want to decarbonize industrial processes with hydrogen, and it's supposed to be green hydrogen, we need a lot of electricity. And in addition, a lot of other sectors are being electrified right now. So we're looking at a huge demand for electricity, with a huge challenge in capacity, a huge challenge in cost. So electricity prices don't explode to an unreasonable level, which will again put a risk at economic development. And so solutions we are looking at, and we've also received applications on in the global call, include very advanced storage systems at a month scale. Solutions include renewable technologies other than solar PV or wind, but technologies that are less intermittent, so that are more stable in generating power, like wave energy converters, tidal energy, and other kinds of riverine turbines. And finally, there were very ambitious applications that create some kind of renewable baseload power, so power that's very predictable at a very stable level, and can contribute just as a coal-powered plant or natural gas-powered plant to baseload. So summarizing the category again, before coming to the winner, we had most applications in this category, almost 100, from across the world, all continents represented. We had interesting aspects on, for example, agrivoltaics. We'll hear more on this later, because this is by definition an interface technology, combining agriculture practices with energy generation, electricity generation. We had biogas solutions for producing power with gas plants then. We had, you've seen the last picture, ultra-deep geothermal, so very difficult drilling projects, but which create very stable baseload capable power. And finally, all of you know this, industrial heat is a major challenge. And now, I think this is important to both Vanessa and myself. There were shortlisted companies, and they were great. And then the jury took a decision. So also being shortlisted in this competition, so it's worthwhile checking this out, is a very important, must have been a very pretty strong technology and a strong innovator. So that wrapped up. We again have a winner, and we'd like to introduce the winner. Vanessa.
And the winner from category 2 is Batteries from Berlin, Germany. So let's play the video.
Hi, I'm Rainer from Berlin, Germany. Before founding Batteries actually in this garage, I worked for 20 years in a corporate, developing and selling power solutions for the energy industry all around the world. Our second life power systems are mobile, modular and multi-purpose. Within seconds, I can swap our mobile battery pack from an e-mobility application to a mobile AC power system. Thanks to our patented interface, we can scale capacity seamlessly from 2 to 10 kilowatt hours and provide up to 5 kilowatt of power. Our cloud connectivity allows us to offer additional value-adding services like predictive maintenance. To scale our innovative power solutions fast and bring it to those people who need it most, we need 3 things: innovative asset financing, commitment to deploy our solutions on governmental level, and of course, local NGOs and distributors who want to work with us.
Right. Do we have Rainer on the line? We'd like to connect him to us.
Good afternoon from Berlin.
Oh, we can't see you, but we can hear you, Rainer.
We can hear you very well.
So maybe if our... Yeah.
Ah, there he is.
Perfect. So, Rainer, welcome to Glasgow, and again, congratulations for being a winner of the UNIDO Global Call 2021. And yeah, maybe you can tell us how your technology works and how this can contribute to combating the challenge of climate change.
Thank you, and hello from Berlin. As you've seen in the video at Batteries, we upcycle batteries from electric vehicles. We give them a second productive life of 7 to 10 years before they finally get recycled. And to do so, we developed this mobile, modular, multi-purpose and connected system you've seen in the video. This brings clean energy and especially affordable energy to the people who need it most. And this helps us to tackle climate change in 2 ways. First of all, by giving batteries from electric vehicles a second life, we can improve the CO2 footprint of the e-mobility by more than 30%. Really a dramatic improvement, and which really makes e-mobility truly environmentally friendly. And more importantly, by replacing carbon-intensive power solutions like small-scale generators or ICE-powered tuk-tuks with our clean power solutions, we can avert CO2. So I'll give you an example. In the case of a small-scale generator, over the lifetime of each of these little generators, we can avert 10 tons of CO2. If you then consider that we want to bring more than 300,000 of these battery packs into the field until 2030, we hopefully avert millions of tons of CO2.
These are really impressive figures. And can you maybe describe a typical project of batteries?
Batteries is a B2B business. So we have 3 ways to bring our solutions into the market. The classic distributor, OEMs who integrate our batteries into their larger systems, and of course, what I guess we all know, the classic project business. So let me give you 2 examples from such project business out of our customer portfolio. Let's imagine we have a mini-grid operator either in Senegal or in Belize, and he runs a PV power station. He serves his customers by bringing the electricity to the household via grid lines. Now, that's okay, but that's limited in itself in 2 ways. First of all, these grid lines are typically only 2 to 3 kilometers maximum away from the power source. So you reach only a very limited amount of people and households. And secondly, of course, laying grid lines is expensive. And this is where batteries comes into play. We can now offer these mini grid operator mobile batteries, which are charged at the PV station and brought to the customer as mobile energy systems. And as such, in a kind of milk bottle exchange system, we achieve a win-win. There's more people who get access to electricity who were before outside of the grid line reach. And secondly, of course, there's more electricity offtake for the mini grid, which improves substantially the economics of such a mini grid.
I think your technology really shows also the evaluation criteria of the global call, where you said like 40% is scalability, and then also like applicability in developing countries and emerging economies was a very interesting or a very relevant evaluation criteria for being a winner of the global call. So yeah, what kind of partnerships would you hope to establish here through the COP? You mentioned some in the video, but maybe you can elaborate a bit further.
Well,
We are just one little wheel in this big gearbox, which we all need to operate to really bring this solution into the field. And of course, as we all know, that the clock is ticking. So key for us to establish strong local partnerships with EPCs, so these people who design and construct and deliver these power solutions, partnerships with distributors. This might be distributors who distribute today generators, but tomorrow switch to clean tech solutions. And of course, NGOs, and it was mentioned in the video, governmental organizations, because we need the top-down support, the local pull from these countries to embed and introduce solutions like ours. So everyone who listens, who falls in this category and really wants to partner with batteries, please reach out to us. Please give us a call. We would be delighted.
That was a very clear call to action. Thank you so much, Rainer. Thank you for dialing in today, and we wish you, of course, all the best for the next things that are about to come.
Thank you, and all the best in Glasgow.
Thank you so much. Okay, so everyone, next category. We've seen Rainer and his technology, and this leads us to number 3. So we are halfway through. And now is a centerpiece also of our work, which is industrial processes, and with it, circular production, because these are hard-to-abate sectors. These are very difficult sectors in the energy transition. Again, look at the chart, please. We're talking about 16 gigaton out of the 52 we need to decarbonize in this field. Now, why is it so important? I see some faces from who were there in yesterday's session as well. Just think, you don't think of food production first when you think of industry, but fertilizer production is responsible for feeding half of the world. Without producing ammonia, we would not be able to produce enough fertilizer to grow enough food to feed everyone. And with an increasing world population, this will definitely stay, and it's responsible for massive emissions right now. Second example process, completely different field. I spoke about this morning with somebody from UNFCCC. The cement process. So why is cement so difficult, or why is cement so hard to decarbonate? The thing is, it's not the combustion of the fuel we need, the heat we need, that's making up most of the emissions, but it's the process itself. So just 1/3 out of the cement process, we've shown this here in the chart, is from the fuel you need to reach the temperatures, the 1500 degrees Celsius. 2/3 originate right out of the limestone, because when you process the limestone and you want to get the cement precursor, or most of you know it as clinker in the end, it releases CO2 as a byproduct. So you need very smart solutions for this massive industry. And keep in mind, cement is the second most used material in the world after water. So it's huge. So what are we talking about in this category? One thing is alternative building materials. Build things not out of concrete, but out of wood, for example, or other more sustainable, right now, production processes. Steel and aluminum, a completely different challenge, but very hard to scale, very early stage. There's presentations this afternoon of people from ThyssenKrupp and other steel producing companies. These technologies, even though they are there technically, are still in infancy, so they need to be scaled. Talking about cement and other processes where we cannot avoid emissions, we must think about carbon capture, whether we like it or not. But if we want to reach net zero on time, if we want to stay with 1.5 degrees Celsius or even below 2, we will need these kinds of technologies. And so summarizing category 3, which was also highly interesting, because we've seen great things on, for example, industrial heat. How can we have high temperatures in industrial heat? Sustainable. How can we use things also like here, geothermal kind of base productions? We had biodigester systems in this case for sustainable ammonium, so fertilizer productions. And also here we had a winner. We had a lot of applications again, more than 60 applications from across the globe. And we had one winner, and that was Vanessa.
And the winner of category 3 is PolyCare from Germany. Yes, now you can see the slide, and we would like to watch the winner movie.
I'm Gernhard, I'm the founder and CEO of PolyCare. I'm almost 70 and I was an entrepreneur for most time of my life. My dream is to empower people to build sustainable and affordable houses. We developed polymer concrete using desert sand and recycled material. This material hardens within 20 minutes without energy, and we form it into building blocks which can be stacked together. It's simply like Lego blocks for adults. It has fewer emissions and no waste, and the best thing is you can reuse it anytime. We license our technology, and therefore we are looking for strong partners in these countries with the experience in the value chain from raw material to construction. In order to establish these new green technology faster, we need support from governments, NGOs, and financial institutions.
Now when they came on stage like a band. We called them the rock stars of this award ceremony. All three of them, you've seen the picture. Welcome to, where are you, Berlin? Right now?
No, I'm in Cologne at the moment.
You're in Cologne, okay.
Rainer.
Welcome, Rainer.
Gerhard.
Gerhard.
Gerhard, nice to have you here in Glasgow virtually, and congratulations once again to PolyCare to being the winner of this category. And yeah, please briefly explain your technology and how this can contribute to combating the challenges of climate change.
Yeah, good afternoon to Glasgow, and thank you for having us. Yeah, we, as I said, we have developed a completely new building material and a new construction methods. In the beginning of our journey, we were not thinking about circular economy. In the very beginning of our company, we were just we just wanted to help people after natural disasters to rebuild with material found on site and with their bare hands. So it was all about empowering. But then we developed this new material and for which we can use even desert sand or recycled material as a filler material. And we make a super, super hard concrete out of it without cement and without water and nearly without energy, while we use as a binder a polyester resin. And this polyester resin itself is largely made out of recycled PET bottles. So that's a very sustainable product at the very end. The blocks are 75% lighter than normal material, and we consume 60% less emissions.
Can you maybe describe a typical project of your company?
Yeah, a typical project is that we do franchise. But we are sort of Coca-Cola for the construction industry. We deliver factories in countries like Namibia or South Africa. We teach the people to run these factories. It's a license model, and the whole value chain stays in that country. And then they produce the blocks and build the buildings in their country. So in Namibia, we build kindergartens, churches, schools, housings, and we do the same in other African countries, and we start now in Europe. And in one of the newest projects in Europe is that we develop a method to use building rubble as filler material to produce new blocks.
That's really impressive, and I know that you can build these houses without even knowing how to read, because these plans, how to build the houses, are using colors, and very unskilled workers can then use these kind of Lego blocks to build houses. And once you don't need them anymore, you can dismantle them, for example, using them for refugee camps, and once they are not needed anymore, you can rebuild them with these blocks. So this is really a very sustainable manner of building and quite flexible. And I think it would be interesting to know what kind of partnerships you are looking for and hoping to establish here at the COP.
Yes, you're absolutely right, Vanessa. What we are doing is we are gone away from this linear economy, take, make, waste, to a more circular approach, because our blocks can be used again and again and don't end up in rubbish. So we are, at the moment, we are scaling our projects and hope that within the next 5 years we will have up to 30 production sites in hopefully in every continent in the world. And at that time, we hope that we at that time have built around 10,000 houses and sparing 200,000 tons of CO2 in the next 5 years. That's a lot for a small company like ours. And yeah, what do we hope from COP26? Well, we hope to find new partners in the construction industry worldwide who share the same vision, namely making sustainable habitats affordable and empower people worldwide to do so. And on the other hand, we hope that some of the governments attending these are realizing that there are better solutions than the cement industry at the moment.
Thank you, Gerd. And you were quoted oftentimes in newspaper articles and so also after the award ceremony due to this picture of the Lego blocks, because this is something very tangible and very well to be understood. So we hope that also this conference here and this your appearance here will lead to further attention for your work, and that you can expand and grow the company as you have planned it. Thank you very much for dialing in from Cologne tonight. Today.
Thank you very much. Good night and success.
Thank you. All right. So, next category, last category. You've almost made it. It's number 4 now, and this is sustainable land management. Again, let us bring us all on the same page. We're talking about approximately 10 gigatons CO2 equivalent out of the 51. And this is not our special discipline. We received support by UNCCD on this, who are, of course, experts in land management, in practices for land management. One interesting chart we would like to show you is if you consider the habitable space on Earth. So first of all, you look at the land surface, and the land surface covers approximately 30%, 29%, out of which half only is habitable land. Oh, no, sorry, 71% is habitable land, of which half is used for agriculture. But of this agricultural land, almost 80%, 77% are used for livestock, while the animal-based calorie supply, the last line at the bottom, only supplies around 80%, which shows us, and which we discussed with the colleagues from UNCCD, how inefficient the use is right now, especially if we're looking at the emissions that are coming from keeping livestock, of course, which you know, especially cattle, and other animals as well. And with the growing population and the need to produce more fertilizer and so, how much this category needs innovation in various segments. Now, we will not go into too many details on this, but there's all kinds of natural carbon uptake processes, improved farming practices, increasing the diversity and the quality of the soil with various innovations we've been seeing. You know all this, you know the big stock market stories on lab-based, plant-based meat and cultured meat grown in a lab in the end. And again, in this category, we had more than 70 applications with a very broad diversity, also regional diversity, again from all continents. We had, sorry, this is something got mixed up here, but I'll tell you some examples of what we received. So we received applications on improving the soil, as we've seen. We've received applications on strengthening farmers and their work, making their work, shortening the value chain. So not involving too many players in the value chain, but rather making the connection between the producer, the farmer, and the consumer shorter. And we've received a couple of applications that combine in a sector coupling way various types of technologies to make multiple use of the land. And that was also one of the winning technologies, right?
Yes, the winner of the category 4 is Zhejiang Chint New Energy Development from China. And let's play the winner video.
Good idea.
Hello, I am Chuan Lu from Zhejiang Chint New Energy Development Company. As a subsidiary of Chint Group, Chint New Energy is a global leading company from mainland China, deeply engaged in the solar PV projects development, as well as PV module manufacturing. It is honored that our Kubuchi 310 megawatt desert solar project could be selected. It is the first solar PV project built on desert in China. With the waste and sandy land rented from farmers and herdsmen, we adopted remarkable sand control method while building the solar project foundation. It has become the benchmark and the demonstration project for desert in China. Besides generating green power, the project is also considering of agricultural planning, animal husbandry, and ecological management beneath the solar panels, which well reflects 5 conceptual aggregation of sand control, grass planting, farming, power generation, and poverty alleviation. Specially designed solar mounting structure with sand control effect. Decent crops selection adapts to local natural conditions. Modified agricultural machinery are the 3 most crucial factors for scaling desert PV project. Positive financial policy could also push the scale.
So we go live to China.
Yes, welcome Mr. Hua Kao, General Manager of International Business Department in China. Maybe you can adjust a little bit your camera that we can better see you. That would be awesome to have you here on the full screen at the Global Innovation Hub in Glasgow. And yeah, I would like to congratulate again, and maybe you can explain a bit what your company does and how your technology contributes to combating the challenges of the climate change.
Okay, thank you. I'm Cao Hua from Zhejiang Chint New Energy Development Corporation, and I'm a General Manager of International Business Department. And distinguished guests, online and offline, and ladies and gentlemen, actually here is already 9:30 Beijing time. I'm now in Beijing, so it is a good night. So I'd like to take this opportunity to share the experience with this winning project, Kubuchi project, and also other we call the PV Plus project, and to join with you to share this experience. And I'd like to make this showcase to what we've done and what we are doing to fight for the climate change by means of PV technology. So let me introduce my company firstly. Zhejiang Chint New Energy Development Corporation, founded in 2006. It is a leading and fully integrated solar company with upstream PV module manufacturing capabilities and downstream project development and EPC capabilities. For the manufacturing aspect, so far, our module factory are based on China and Thailand, and annual capacity exceeds 10 gigawatt by now. On the other hand, Chint Solar has engaged in PV station development since 2009 worldwide. By now, the total installation of PV stations is more than 7 gigawatt already, covering European countries, America, Australia, Japan, and the Southeast of Asia, and of course, made in China. We have formed a close cooperation system of financial support, plus demand support, plus industrial coordination by means of project investment, BOT, EPC, and equipment sales, etc.
Mr. Kao, can you maybe make it very concrete? Because I know that your company is huge and that you applied with a very specific project in China, in the desert, where you combine the PV modules with agriculture. So maybe you can really explain with a specific project what your company is doing.
Okay, so maybe I can introduce the Kubuchi, this desert solar project, more detail. And we are proud to realize such innovative project in the desert, not only to produce electricity, now around 14 billion kilowatt hour over the 20 years operation period, but also reduce the CO2 emission by more than 7 million tons. What's more, to create more jobs for local farmers, 3,000 jobs during construction, and 200 positions for later maintenance and planting. This project is the first solar plus desertification control project, creatively combining renewable energy generation with desertification control, development of agriculture planting, animal husbandry, and poverty elevation. The PV panel can shelter the land from sunshine and wind, which can reduce the evaporation capacity by 800 millimeter per year, and wind speed by 1.5 meters per second. The plant under the panel can be used in micro spray, drip irrigation, which can save more than 90% water and improve the planting survival rate by more than 30%. And the soil fertility increased by year. The project will continue to promote the economic development of the residents around the project site over the project lifetime.
Okay, Mr. Kao, this is a really impressive figures. Maybe you can elaborate like what kind of partnerships you hope to establish through the COP. And if I may once again ask you maybe to adjust a little bit your camera that your audience here in Glasgow can see you a bit better, that would be very kind.
Yes, sorry, I already make the camera on.
No, it's on, just we cannot see your full face, but...
Yeah. Really? So this is on or not, sorry?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. That's great. Much better.
Okay, sorry. Okay, can you hear me? Yes.
Yes, it works. Thank you.
Please repeat the question, maybe.
So, what kind of partnerships do you hope to establish here at the COP26 in Glasgow?
Okay, yes. As for the fully integrated solar company with upstream module manufacturing and downstream project development, Chint will follow this basic strategy for next steps and actions. Regarding to manufacturing, Chint is planning to expand capacity from present 10 gigawatt to 15 gigawatt next year with advanced mainstream technology, which keeps Chint is within the first tier of PV manufacturing group. The factories will be mostly in China, Thailand, or other high potential market countries, which I think we need a local partner who is interested in and have common understanding with Chint. And regarding to the project development and EPC business, we build a PV power station not only in China, but all over the world, which mainly around the Belt and the Road, such as the Netherlands, Spain, Bulgaria, Romania, the United States, South Africa, Turkey, India, Vietnam, Japan, etc. And for the whole business, Chint needs investors, EPC contractors, consultants, lawyers, equipment suppliers, etc. as our partners. I think many COP26 parties are also countries along the Belt and the Road, and we welcome you to join us to invest and develop together to promote the concept, what we call the splendid PV. By the way, this August, Chint New Energy Turkey subsidiary received approximately 90,000 IRECs, it means International Renewable Energy Certificate, of which 43,000 have been transferred to the Vodafone, Turkey. This green certificate delivery is a leap forward in China, exploration of the energy trading sector.
Mr. Kao.
Turkish transparent is the pilot project for China. Then, of course, we'd like to do this carbon trading in the coming future.
This is impressive, Mr. Kao. Thank you so much for dialing in, taking the time late in the evening, Beijing time. And we couldn't have a better project to round off this call, basically, because what you're doing is sector coupling by technology, using the agrivoltaics, making multiple use of land. And we would like to thank you again for dialing in. We wish you all the best, all the success for the plans you have, which are ambitious. And we keep our fingers crossed this will all materialize and grow out. So thank you again, and good night to Beijing.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So that was the last category. Thank you everyone for coming here today. As we said, it's what we've tried to display, and we put on this picture once more in the end, because all that we're doing, or that the idea behind this call is, of course, collaboration. And collaboration not only amongst cross-border, amongst nations and people, but also amongst disciplines. It's very interdisciplinary what we're trying to do. I know we have architects in the audience and developers, chemists, economists, everything. So we would kindly like to ask you to keep pushing the Cleantech agenda. And with this, I would like to give the final word to my colleague Vanessa. And I would like to say, Carlos asked us to give him the mic once again in the end. So thank you, everyone.
Yeah, just to thank everyone once again, and to say, if you want to reach out to jury members of the Global Call, as I said, we have here a jury member with Andrea Camponorara from UNFCCC here in the room, and our director from the Energy Department, Tarek Enteira, is also here if you want to reach out to UNIDO and me from the UNIDO ITPO Germany. So thank you very much for attending this session.
Thank you so much. Carlos, may we give you the floor?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well-deserved applause. So I just wanted to connect this to the Innovation Hub project. So please, most welcome all of you. We are really inspired by the call, the results, the outcome, and of course the presentations, the winner. Big congrats to all of them. We are establishing the network that will feed into the work of the working groups and also the advisory committee. So very much looking forward to continue collaborating with all of you and looking for innovative, ambitious climate solutions that meet particularly human needs. So in that categories, we have, of course, the food and nutrition, the health, access, shelter, leisure and clothing. And of course, what we did today was to see how these human core needs can be met through these innovative solutions. So we will be offering a platform of platforms where actually the assessment of different impacts and standards will be looking into how all of these innovative solutions are aligned with the SDGs and with the Paris Agreement. So we look forward to collaborate with all of you. So Vanessa, Peter, Leonie, and also a big thanks to Andrea Camponorara and his team for making these connections. And again, thank you all. Thank you.